After the abandoned church was converted into an apartment by Mr. and Mrs. Salvancher, every tenant who moved into that particular unit mysteriously died, typically within the first 2 months. This led many to believe that the apartment was haunted. Now, Carlos, the current owner, couldn't find a single person willing to rent it. He even dropped the price drastically, but fear kept everyone away. Left with no other option, Carlos locked up the apartment, resigned to the idea that no one would ever rent it again. Then came Sylvia, a broke and struggling college student who worked multiple shifts just to make ends meet. She had recently moved to Florida and was desperately searching for a place to stay. Despite scouring the entire city, every apartment she came across was far beyond her limited budget. One day, she met a kind man named Andrew, a pastor at a local church. He took a liking to her and decided to help. "My daughter," he said, "there's one apartment on Street 77. The landlord is offering it at an unbelievably low price. Some people say it's haunted, but do you believe in ghosts?" Andrew chuckled, and they both laughed. With no alternatives left, Sylvia decided to visit the apartment. She met Carlos, who greeted her warmly. The price truly was affordable, and Sylvia was genuinely surprised at how spacious and beautiful the apartment was. She accepted the offer and collected the keys. That evening, she spent hours cleaning and arranging the place. While organizing, she came across an old mirror. It radiated a strange energy, an eerie presence she couldn't quite explain. She placed it on a table and gently wiped the dust from its surface. By dawn, her work was complete. Exhausted, she collapsed into bed. The next day at college, her friend Amanda was stunned. "You actually moved into that apartment?" she said. "They say it's haunted, Sylvie." "Oh, not you too, Mandy. You really believe in the supernatural?" Sylvia replied, clearly frustrated. That night, lying in bed, Sylvia couldn't shake the uneasy feeling. Then, out of the corner of her eye, she spotted a dark silhouette. She stood up, but it vanished. She walked over and shut the window. That's when her eyes fell on the mirror again. Drawn to it, she approached and stared into her reflection, inexplicably compelled to keep looking. She smiled, but just as she turned to head back to bed, something unnerving happened. Her reflection kept smiling, even though she had stopped. A chill crawled up her spine. She moved her hand, but her reflection remained perfectly still, its grin frozen and unnerving. That's when she realized it wasn't her reflection at all. In the glass, she saw a figure standing behind her. It resembled a woman, drenched in blood. Sylvia's heart thundered in her chest, her blood running cold as she watched the figure slowly advance toward her. Overcome with terror, Sylvia squeezed her eyes shut and screamed for help. Somewhere around midnight, someone silently slipped into Sylvia's apartment. Blood trailed across the floor in a chilling crimson path. The intruder was none other than Andrew, the pastor Sylvia had once trusted. A sinister smirk curled across his face as he turned to leave. But just then, a searing pain shot through his back. He spun around, stunned, to see Sylvia, except she looked utterly transformed. Her entire body was drenched in blood, her eyes glowing with a malevolent light. In a voice that was no longer her own, she hissed, "Why? Don't you remember me? I'm Mary. I thought you liked me." Then she laughed, a bone-chilling sound that echoed through the apartment. Andrew collapsed, barely clinging to life. Years earlier, Mary had been a radiant young woman brought to the church to serve as a nun. What she didn't know was that Andrew, a pastor there, had dark intentions. One night, while she was cleaning the sanctuary, he summoned her to his chamber. Things quickly turned horrifying as he took advantage of her. Tears streamed down Mary's face as she screamed, "You'll pay for this, you monster! Everyone will know who you truly are!" She turned to flee, but before she could reach the door, he stabbed her. As she lay dying, her blood pooling beneath her, her eyes locked onto an ornate mirror. In that final moment, her soul became imprisoned within it. After her death, strange and unexplainable events began to plague the church, leading to its closure, until Carlos renovated the building and turned it into apartments. For years, Mary's vengeful spirit remained trapped in the mirror, patiently searching for a suitable vessel to exact her revenge. She had attempted to possess previous tenants, but each time they perished. Then came Sylvia, an ordinary student, yet one with an unyielding inner strength. She was the perfect host. Andrew, on the other hand, had been watching Sylvia. He had sinister plans for her as well. He knew the truth. He knew the deaths were connected to Mary's wrath, and he lived in constant fear that she would one day come for him. He was certain Sylvia wouldn't survive her stay in the apartment. His plan was to wait until Mary killed her, then use Sylvia's corpse in a dark ritual to destroy Mary's spirit once and for all. But now, here he lay, bleeding, helpless, his life slipping away, as the possessed Sylvia cackled with demonic glee. The next morning, Sylvia awoke with a splitting headache. "Is it morning already? I don't even remember falling asleep." Everything in the apartment appeared perfectly normal, as though the previous night's horror had never occurred. She got dressed and left for the day. As the door closed behind her, soft, eerie laughter echoed from within the mirror.